The BMW G310RR is an unexpected motorcycle. Over the last half decade or so, the technological collaboration between BMW and TVS has seen the two companies roll out unique and distinct products that don't really overlap with one another. What we're seeing here though for the first time is essentially a badge engineering exercise. There is no getting around the elephant in the room. The G310RR is essentially a rebadged TVS Apache RR310. But there are some changes that BMW has made to differentiate this motorcycle. Today we're taking a look at exactly what those changes are and how much of a difference they make to the overall experience. The first differences that are going to be apparent to any buyer are appearance and price. This BMW sports all the same bodywork as the Apache, but it covers these panels in new colors and graphics. And the version we're testing is the Style Sport variant, which is interesting not only because it looks quite fresh and attractive in these BMW M colors, but also because it's priced at Rs 2.99 lakh, making it a whole 34,000 rupees more expensive than the base version of the Apache RR310. Even the standard version of this BMW with its black color option is priced at Rs 2.85 lakh, which is still 20,000 rupees more than the TVS. When it comes to performance, it comes as no surprise that the two RRs from the two companies feel extremely similar, and that's because they've got the same hardware and the same software. You've got the same 312cc liquid-cooled engine that comes with the same 4 riding modes that you get on the Apache. You even get things like glide-through technology like you get on the TVS. It isn't explicitly mentioned anywhere, but you do feel it doing its thing. From the saddle, the engine feels pretty much the same as the Apache's, and our V-Box confirmed this, showing no appreciable difference in acceleration between the two bikes. Which means that the G310RR feels like a reasonably quick and responsive motorcycle. But it also comes with the high RPM buzziness that you see on the Apache, which can become tiresome over long distances. The snatchy and aggressive throttle response in the two higher riding modes is also carried over from the TVS, and this is something that takes some getting used to. There are more differences when it comes to the chassis package, but unfortunately not all of the changes are in the BMW's favour. Perhaps the biggest difference here compared to the Apache is that here you get Michelin Pilot street tyres as opposed to the excellent Michelin Road 5s that you get on the Apache. For everyday use, these Pilot streets are adequate, but this is a sports bike, and when you start trying to extract some performance out of it, these tyres just can't match up to the Road 5s when it comes to feel or grip, both wet and dry. One more difference in the area of chassis is the brakes. The sizes are the same, but the Beamer gets conventional brake rotors compared to the pedal discs you see on the TVS. We did find the G310RR brakes feeling a little better than we remember on the Apache that we recently rode, but this could be down to the fact that the BMW was brand new with fresh brake pads in it. Suspension is an area of both similarity and difference. The stock setup here is exactly the same as the stock setup on the standard Apache RR310. But the TVS gives you the optional kit that gives you greater suspension adjustability, and that isn't available here. BMW says it doesn't see the demand for it. Nevertheless, the stock setup here works quite well, and it strikes a great balance between ride quality and sporty handling. This is quite a comfortable and composed motorcycle at most times. Like the stock Apache, the BMW does a good job of dealing with bumps and potholes, especially when you consider that this is a sports bike. Blows are softened and the bike remains composed at all speeds, which inspires confidence. The Apache's sweet handling characteristics have also been carried over, so the G310RR is a sharp, quick steering motorcycle that feels agile and light on its feet. It'll take a capable rider to find the limits of these Pilot street tyres in the dry, but as soon as the surface is wet, most riders will find the grip from these Michelins to be in limited supply. Considering the more premium placement of this bike, you'd expect BMW to maybe throw in an extra feature or two, but it's actually the TVS that comes off as the better equipped motorcycle of this pair. They're quite identical on most counts in this area, but while the G310 does get the TFT display and all the information that it shows, it misses out on Bluetooth connectivity, which the TVS gives you as standard. There are a couple of touches to remind the BMW owner of the extra money that they've spent every time they start their motorcycle. First there's the BMW key, and then you have the specialized BMW graphic that shows every time you start the TFT screen.
The Apache has always had great build quality and finish levels. The materials have all been very pleasing and it's a very well put together motorcycle. So much so in fact that it's all been carried over unchanged onto the G310 and it feels perfectly appropriate for a BMW at this price point. And that's quite a compliment to TVS. The BMW G310RR is a bike that will cater to a very specific sort of buyer, one to whom brand value is very important, perhaps even more so than riding experience. Considering that it's less capable than the Apache and yet more expensive, arguably its biggest asset is the badge on the fairings. To the discerning few who are in the know, this may be a rebadged Apache, but to the vast majority of people out there, this is a very sporty and striking looking BMW motorcycle, and that makes people take notice. In the time we spent with it, the design, the graphics and the BMW logos all meant that it attracted a good deal more attention than we found when we spent time with the Apache, and that's perhaps the biggest reason why people will buy this motorcycle. Just how many such buyers are out there is an interesting question that we'll have the answer to pretty soon. थम कट कर अजून एक करूया कंटिन्यू रोल करने का हाँ चल नहीं रे वो दब रहा था सॉरी मोर चेंजेस